Welcome once again to an episode. I haven't done this in a long time. An episode of the Nerd Day podcast. I'm your host, as always, your doctor recommended dose of nerdiness, aka your Nerd Day. Yeah, Carlos Rodriguez. Sorry, I'm still in that WrestleMania vibe since I just came off of actually going to both days of WrestleMania and also attending the Raw after Mania. I'm back in it, man. We're back in it. We're about to relaunch Apron Work Podcast. That's actually coming. We'll have news for that shortly if you check my socials. That's all coming in the near future. But right now, trying to get back into the swing of things, kind of going back into the nerdy day stuff while I'm also working on you can kind of see it, right? You see like the little just the tip right here. Sorry. If you're watching video wise, at least you can see my PlayStation 5 in the background because I'm about to, while I edit this, play some more Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth for our big spoiler discussion for Chaos Bringers. That should be on the horizon soon. Half of us have beaten it now. Now we have just two more people to beat it. Shout out to appendicitis for allowing Kevin to get his appendix out, most unnecessary body part, and B, allowing him to play 40 hours of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and finish it. So that's awesome. Now it's just the one who has two kids and the other person who, I'm surprised Frank hasn't been yet. I'm actually really shocked. Anyway, besides the point, we're getting into a proper actual Nerd Day episode. Not a reacts, not anything like this. We have some news. I loved my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You already see the headline right below, right in the video. If you're listening, it's the title. Come on, guys. We're gonna talk about a rated R Ninja Turtles movie. My thoughts on it, early thoughts on it, and eventually I'm gonna put this out into the universe. Like I like doing that a lot, and it comes true. I want to get a special guest. Now, if you guys know Nerd Day, we do a special thing called the Meaning of. Planned this for a while. I definitely want one person specifically on this Meaning of Ninja Turtles. I want Johnson is Lovely. That dude's amazing. You should check him out. I have his TikTok listed down below. Impeccable work. He's that Ninja Turtle dude. Awesome. He's killing it. Love him to death. Love collab. I would love to collab with him. We always talk. We talk. But I'm gonna formally put that out there, Johnson. If you're watching, I'm gonna hit you up soon. We'll do a long form Ninja Turtles, what it means to us, because it's cool. We come from two different generations, since you are so young and I am so old of Ninja Turtles fandom. But before we get into that, Jesus, you can tell it's been a long time since I've done an episode. I'm also want to play Final Fantasy so bad, so I'm right here, baby. It's all right. You're right here. It's okay. I'll play up in a minute, baby. Okay. We'll do some more gold saucer stuff. Anyway, let's get into the Patreon shout outs specifically. These are the people who help make Nerd Day a thing. Got a shout out first and foremost. Hopefully, awesome again. They're brand new parents of two-time. They got two kids now. That's awesome. So I'm really happy, proud of them. I actually caught up with a lot of YouTube stuff, so I'm catching back up with their Transformers and Smallville series from last year. Of course, I'm far behind, but when am I, guys? Life of a parrot. Jeff Felcher, brother from another mother. Love you to death, dude. Susan, sister from another mister. Absolutely love you to death. One of my best friends out there. Always supporting the channel. Brandon, my big brother. Love you to death, man. Helped that, he helped make that intro you saw in the beginning. Just amazing. And then my partner in crime over at Apron Work Podcast, Michael Restpass, for supporting me over at patreon.com/nerdday. You can do that same. It's in the link below. Audio and video. No worries about it. And as I mentioned before, Apron Work's coming back. But if you want to hear about my WrestleMania journey and my love of professional wrestling a little bit in a different format, you can check out Point in Progress, their most recent episode, I believe 94. I'll list that down below as well. So you can check that out. But another link we're going to have down below, and we're talking about specifically today, is, as I mentioned, I'm sorry I'm not looking, if you're watching the video, I'm not looking at your beautiful eyes. Let's pause real quick. Just stop. It's been a while. I'm just catching up with everything. Hey, how you doing? You okay? You drinking water? Taking care of yourself? Taking meds? Vitamins? All right. If no one told you this, I love you. I'm proud of you. Have a good day. All right. But with that positive affirmation out the way. We're actually in the episode 94 of the Nerdy Day podcast. And as I mentioned, rated R, TMNT. So we got this news story right here from Boris Kitt. Link down below for the full article. Over at the Hollywood Reporter. Headline goes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin movie in works. I took some quotes out real quick, and I wanted to talk about this, and then I'm going to go into my kind of discussion and what I'm thinking about, what my headspace at with this. Paramount is developing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, adapting a popular storyline seen in the most recent IDW comics. Pardon me, as a live-action feature, with the intent of making it a rated R movie. Tyler Burton Smith, who co-wrote the upcoming rated R action movie Boy Kills World, and who wrote the 2019 iteration of the Chucky horror franchise Child's Play, reaching because it's Chucky, but it was a reboot, which I'm hearing a lot of good things. Pause right here. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Boy Kills World. It looks awesome. Looks very funny, very super bloody. That cast looks awesome. Child's Play, I haven't had a chance to watch it. I'm reluctant to watch it, and I'm going to say this from one specific standpoint. I absolutely love Child's Play and the Chucky franchise. In October, I was kind of trying to do like 30 movies or 31 movies in 31 days. It's harder now that I'm a parent, but in the early days of being a first-time father, my son, can't see more than like 7 or 8 inches ahead of him. So there's a lot of horror movies on in the background. He's born in October, so it was a lot before. And then that first week after, I just binged through since I was awake. He was awake. Let's watch some horror movies. And I caught up with the Chucky movies then. I watched all of them in a row. Absolutely stellar movies. That series is special in my heart. Don Mancini knows what he's doing. There's some missteps. See, the Chucky's a little weird, but I like that series as a whole. Love the TV series. I rave about it all the time on Twitter and social media. I love it absolutely so much. One of the best young couples on any TV when in the protagonist. I love them so much. It's so cute to see them. But I've been reluctant to watch this movie. I've heard a lot of good things, and I hear that if it would be an incredible movie if it wasn't Chucky. That makes sense. If it was any other kind of AI doll thing, it would have been amazing. But besides that, I heard a lot of good things about Child's Play, other than them trying to force it into this like Chucky reboot thing. Hearing good things about Boy Kills World. So Tyler Burton Smith, in my view, kind of excited about this. But he's penning this bit. Walter Hamada is producing the film through his 18 Hertz production company as part of a multi-year deal with the studio. Hamada is the former head of DC Films who rose through the ranks at New Line, where he oversaw the Warner Brothers division horror movies, including The Conjuring, the It franchise. His 18 Hertz banners focus on making features in the horror genre. So a little bit of a pull right there. And I guess they equate horror with like rated R bloody action, but we'll see. The Last Ronin takes place in an alternate future where the last remaining turtle comes back to a dystopian New York to get revenge on Shredder's grandson for the murder of his family. It's best to keep it as vague as possible who the Last Ronin is. Obviously, the book's been out for a while. It is a big crux of the book. So if you somehow don't know who the Last Ronin is, don't look it up. Buy the book. Absolutely buy the book. It's amazing. I don't have an Amazon affiliate again, but it's awesome. You should check it out. It's a great read, especially if you're even a tertiary fan of the Ninja Turtles. Absolutely love it. It's a great story. Reminds me of the Dark Knight Returns for Ninja Turtles fans, or even people who just know the Ninja Turtles. Like, I think it's a good point of reference, like fun little elsewhere story. The film adaptation, I put this in notations. The film adaptations also follows the announcement of a third-person action RPG in the vein of God of War 2018, that is being developed by Black Forest Games. But I put here in quotations as well, who knows what's happening with that since they recently laid off a good portion of their staff. So I wanted to get the base notes out of the way, right? Ninja Turtles movie, Walter Hamada producing, who just basically left DC. He was head of that, especially at the end. aiming for a rated R rating specifically. Decent writer on board, no confirmed director, live action, right? Those are the bullet points. Now, let's get into this. If you have been following Nerd Today for a while, you know the whole point of Nerd Today, right, is I kind of feature a lot of stuff that's made me happy throughout the years and kind of made me, I don't want to say sane, right? It's kept me, happy, entertained, has a special meaning, a special place in my heart. I've covered Ninja Turtles before, especially with all the Mutant Mayhem stuff leading up to its release. I didn't get to follow it afterwards because of the writer and actor strike. It's a really good movie, amazing movie. You should check it out. I had a great time with my family. Um, I love the 1990 movie. I love the 2007 TMNT animated movie. I think that's one of my favorites just because I personally have a very strong emotional attachment to the movie for taking my one of my moms to the movie theaters, kind of repaying her for all the time she took me to the movie theaters to see Ninja Turtles in theaters. And it's every time I tell the story, I try not to get emotional, but it's one of my favorite stories. My now wife, who was my girlfriend then, and her and my mom, Augustina, rest in peace. Uh, it was the best, dude. It was the best. She was a little harder walking. She was older, so I like had her arm around me. Her arm around me. I bought her popcorn. I sat her down with me. We shared food. She jumped at all the action scenes, and it's it's my favorite memory. And Ninja Turtles has always been something very special to me. Funny story to get out of the emotional impact of that one. I Early on in my life, my middle name's Raphael. I literally thought it was Raphael because of the Ninja Turtles. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I was born in '87. Ninja Turtles came out in '83. The cartoon started in '87, but like it was popular enough. I'm like, I think my mom's a little bit of a nerd. Like my birth mom was like, I think she's a nerd enough. Like yeah, it's probably Raphael. And I asked her, she's like, no, no, God, no, no, it's your uncle. I was like, oh, gotcha. Okay, I'm sorry, my godfather. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that's cool. I like him. You could have lied about this, like you lied about everything else. Anyway, that's for therapy. But yeah, now we have. Well, I'm 37. It's 2024, and we have a rated R, possibly rated R. They're shooting for a rated R TMNT movie. How do I feel about this? I am cautiously optimistic. I Our last live action, in quotation, live action outing was the Michael Bay produced TMNT Out of the Shadows. Is that movie good? It's fun. It's a fun movie. It has a decent enough cast. Um Whatever little egregiousness I had with Megan Fox's April, and that's only because of how they wrote her in the previous movie of that series, is solved. But then there's more grievances, like why is she dressed up as a sexy schoolgirl? I understand it's Megan Fox. Don't get me wrong, she's sexy, but bro, it's Ninja Turtles. Like I don't need to be seeing all that. Like that's other movies. You know what I mean? It just felt like very like Transformers with her in like these random outfits. And like, listen, again, beautiful girl. I get it. Listen, it's nice to look at, but it doesn't make sense in the world. Why is April O'Neil, you know, dressed like this? It doesn't make sense. Um, I like the casting of like Seamus and Gary Anthony as Bebop and Rocksteady. I thought that was fun. Actually, kind of, I kind of dig Stephen Amell as Casey Jones. The only thing is his Casey Jones is so annoying, and like I agree with Johnson is Levy on this. I don't think he'd be a cop. Um I don't it just that's not Casey. I don't see him that way. I'm not talking crap about anybody. I don't see him as that character. So it was strange. Obviously it's Elseworld, so who knows. Um but Stephen Amell as Casey Jones felt like what his Oliver Queen should have been, because Oliver Queen in the comics is very like, I don't know, happy go lucky, very like fencer. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a swashbuckler. That's what the word I'm trying to think of. Like that kind of like rogue, the devilish rogue kind of character. And I kind of got that. So it was like, oh, I kind of got Green Arrow. like from the comics in this movie. Um, Krang was cool to see. Shredder, I think, was very cast really well. It's just that movie is it is what it is, man. I had a lot of fun with it, as much as you could with those movies. You know, but that was our last outing. And now we have Seth Rogen produced Mutant Mayhem. That did very well in the box office. Did very well on home media. Has a series that's about to start on Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon very soon. That kind of takes place in between one and two. Kind of like some more stories. The art style looks great. Casting teenagers was a good idea. It was a lot of fun, and it still, is a departure. There's a lot of things that are different in that universe, like the fact they're friends with Bebop and Rocksteady, and you know, a lot of things like that. But despite that, it's a very competent, very fun movie. I don't know how I feel about a rated R Ninja Turtles movie. I think initially now that I'm older, now that I'm 37, I'm like, I don't know, do we need it? But I think my 20 to 30 self, and I know it's only like a 7 year difference, right? If we go at the latest, um, would crave a rated R Ninja Turtles film, right? I don't think I necessarily need rated R. I want the gravitas that you can get with rated R, if that makes sense. Like Last Ronin is a dark story. Don't get me wrong, it is. Um, that's like adapting Dark Knight Returns. Even let's say live action. I know they've done animated. You want the freedom that an R rating can give you, but do you necessarily need to make it right? Like I'll be happy if the last Ronin is PG-13, but a dark PG-13. The Dark Knight is a very dark, a very adult PG-13. Very serious. For the most part, it being Batman. Batman movie PG-13. I think he did a really good job. Heath Ledger is amazing, obviously as Joker. One of the quintessential, performances as that character. I don't know if you necessarily need the last Ronin to be R. I think I think you want the creative freedom that that brings you. But my worry with anything R rated and like you shooting for it is like the gratuitous nature of it. Now, mind you, I'm not talking like, oh man, I get it. There's gray in the beard. Listen. I'm not talking about gratuitous. It's like I don't need nudity in Ninja Turtles. Does that make sense? I don't need nudity in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a different April O'Neil. It- if you know, you know. I don't need that. I don't need heavy gore, right? Um, I don't necessarily need. I would love. This is I okay. Ideally, because I love the fight scenes and the choreography that comes with these movies. The raid, and the raid redemption, right? Amazing pieces of action movies. Now they specifically have a almost horror esque take on violence, martial arts, and specifically like the martial arts they use in those films. Very brutal, very in your face. And now, mind you, I'm a horror guy. I love horror. I absolutely love horror. I love That's a genre I love. I could fall asleep to it. That could be that's my TV right there. That's my bed right behind me. I could be falling asleep to like some messed up stuff on TV. But I don't necessarily need that level of gore when it comes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? But that frenetic, hard hitting action, that's what I love. I would love to have it's like my cake and eat it too, right? I'm fantasy booking if you're a wrestling fan. I'm fantasy booking this movie, right? I want Boy Kills World when you see the trailers that has that high frenetic kind of John Wick action, right? But I don't I like that. I would love that and it'd be cool to see a this last Ronin turtle take on the foot with that high frenetic, very hard hitting. Like I want to be able when you see the Ronin like kick with all his mutated strength, right? I want to feel that dude get stuck in the wall, right? I want the power. I want to feel it. I want the that's what I mean when I want the creative freedom that rated R comes with, right? Or the R rating comes with, right? I don't necessarily need that the second he hits the wall, blood splatters like in an anime. You know, I don't need, Invincible, right? Good example. Spoilers for the season finale, or if you've read the books. Like when he goes off and there's blood everywhere, like I don't necessarily need that. That works in that world. I don't think that would work in the Ninja Turtles world. And I mind you, like I think there's a couple scenes that are bloody, showing the fall of the turtles in Splinter. I think grants you that R rating. Probably would get you that R rating. Um, I think most of the movie can get you the R rating. I don't necessarily need like cursing. I don't need, and that's the other thing too. I have the mouth of a sailor. I'm trying to be PG-13 right now. When I have guests on, it's rated R. It's fine, but I don't necessarily need that. Like I would love to have a really like on the border PG-13 like to R TMNT movie, just something that can give us a more adult feeling Ninja Turtles that complements the story that the Last Ronin has. Um, I mentioned the Black Forest games that they're coming out, supposedly coming out with a game. It was announced there was like a teaser trailer, which is just concept art. I don't know if that's gonna happen now with a lot of studio closures, especially an Embracer Group. Um, I don't know what the future looks for that game, so I'm not gonna speculate and say, it's definitely coming out, and you have that as well. But you have the source material, right? Read the book, support your libraries. Do whatever. Like go on Amazon, go to Barnes and Nobles, buy it physically. Go to your local comic shop, pick it up. It's a great great miniseries. And there's a prequel, there's a sequel. Like it's all really good. The original creators are involved, both of them, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. Like it's beautiful. It's a beautiful celebration in a way of something that we grew up with. And it's a rough story, but I don't necessarily think it translates to this uh R rating specifically. I don't think we need it. I think you kind of want that as a like, listen, we're gonna shoot for that, but we're like we want it lower. You know what I mean? Like that's how I want it ideally. I want a PG. I want a super dark PG-13 version of the Last Run, and it lends itself to it. Honestly, it really does. Um, I think that's it though. I think honestly that's all I want to talk about specifically about this. I mean, this early talks, this just came out of CinemaCon last week. Um, it's going to be interesting to see where we land on this. Obviously, we have another sequel to Mutant Mayhem coming out soon too. I believe in like 2 years that should be coming out, or they're just starting the script. Um, so we'll see that. We have that series coming out. IDW is about not do a relaunch, but like the next phase. It's basically issue 150 is about to come out with Jason Aaron, one of my favorite writers in the comic book medium. He's taken over the reins of TMNT from everyone who contributed to the first 149 issues of the IDW series. So it's going to be awesome to see where that picks up afterwards. New status quo with Jason Aaron writing it. Um, we're in a really good place fandom wise for Ninja Turtles. Last year we had the release of Shredder's Revenge, and its DLC. It's just we're in a really good place as a Ninja Turtles fan. I'm obviously wearing a shirt. It's very faded after all the years I've owned it, but I think we're in a good place. I think this is surprising. I again, I'm to reiterate, I'm cautiously optimistic about this release. Um, I think it has the potential to do something very well. I don't think necessarily that should be the harbinger of like everything needs to be rated R. All your kid stuff needs to be rated R. I would love a really dark Power Rangers movie as well. There's that fan film, the bootleg Power Rangers movie. I say bootleg because that's Adi Shankar's like little title of the bootleg stuff. It's fun to watch, don't get me wrong, but I don't necessarily need that. I just want the gravitas, I want to feel the action. I want to wince, if that makes sense at a kick. And especially like who the Ronin is, he's more mature. It makes more sense to see a bigger, more stockier, especially if you watch that, or if you pardon me, if you read that story, he's a stockier, because he's older now. He's like, oh God, he's my age, isn't he? Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. God damn it. I'm old enough to be. Okay, well, that's a weird way to end this episode with the realization that I'm old. Anyway, um, he's a stockier Ninja Turtle. Unlike my stockiness, he's like actually fit. Um, it makes sense to see that power behind his moves. Like I would love to see like the weight of that. So let me know what you think. Comment down below. I'm happy to be back, kind of doing Nerd Today content while also working my way through Chaos Bringers next episode for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Um, I'm just happy to kind of be doing this again. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Been in a really bad headspace, so it's really cool to just jump back on the horse and just let's ride. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Again, comment down below. Let me know what you think about a rated R TMNT movie. Deuces.